Bujo and Winnay Wemigwase Duck Anin, Mawantanagijik and Disnakas, Makwa, Nindo Dame Nida, Waswaganin and Tunjba. Good morning, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pendry, and the distinguished committee members. I am John Johnson, Sr., President of the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians. I am serving my third term, and we do have members of my tribal council that have joined me here today. We thank the subcommittee for your continued advocacy to increase federal appropriations for the tribes. The 638 and other programs we contract and perform are vital to the health and safety of our members. Our request and those of other tribes today arises from our treaties with the United States. Ojibwe tribes ceded our aboriginal lands and reserved the right to hunt, fish, and gather in our ceded territories in return for the protection of the United States. The United States is again at war. Tribal members serve in the nation's armed forces in great numbers. They have fought and died for the United States in all wars. The funds we discuss today represent just a portion of the United States trust responsibility to Indian tribes and our citizens. I summarize this in my written testimony. First, we ask the subcommittee to write President Trump and urge that he lift any remaining hiring freezes at the Department of Interior, DHHS, and EPA positions that are critical to the tribes carrying out our programs and services under 638 contracts and compact and other agreements. Vacant federal employee positions often result in our delayed receipt of federal funds. Second, we ask the subcommittee to address the disparity between the $3 billion estimate NCAI identified in congressional testimony last session to fully fund law enforcement, corrections, and tribal courts, and current funding levels of $570 million to these programs. Tribes are losing our trained police officers after a few years of service. They take better paying jobs in towns nearby, counties, and state sheriff's departments. 11 police officers patrol our 144 square mile reservation. In nearby towns and county sheriff's offices, they have 3 times as many officers and a third of the caseload that we have in Lac du Flambeau. Since I testified last year, we lost 5 members of our community to fentanyl and fentanyl-related overdoses. We simply lack the manpower to handle investigation, surveillance, and intervention. Fellow representatives introduced, co-sponsored the Parity of Tribal Law Enforcement Act. The legislation died last Congress. Until Congress enacts the legislation, please increase significantly funding for the tribal police safety officers and tribal courts. Third, please double the current Taiwahi program budget. The flexible Taiwahi program improves the ability of tribes to provide alternatives to incarceration, social service programs, counseling, job training, parenting classes, and other programs to at-risk community members in a culturally appropriate manner to keep Indians' families together. Fourth, education is critical to the nation's future. We appreciate there were no cuts to the BIE programs in the fiscal year 26. Please increase the Johnson Valley Assistance Grants Program by at least 25% to give our students culturally appropriate classroom activities. Please increase at least 25% post-secondary scholarships and adult education program grants. We fund with Tribal General Revenue's BIA scholarships funds with an additional 50% subsidy, and we continue to fall short of our students' needs. Increase funds for Native American language immersion programs help us build strong, confident Native youth. Tribal youth will return tenfold to the United States your $1 investment in them. Fifth, we continue to provide advance appropriations to Indian Health Services accounts. Tribes and healthcare advocates for NIHB believe that the appropriations to the IHS should be there to 4 times the current funding levels. We request that Congress increase funding to the sanitation facilities construction accounts so that aged septic, sewer, and water lines serving reservations can be replaced. IHS policies prioritize new home, sewer, septic, and water hookups. The IHS has not responded timely to our request to assist us to replace 150 tribal home septic tanks that are at the capacity or replace a 3-mile water line that is leaking. Please consider dedicated funding within the IHS facilities account to assist tribes replacing aging water, sewer, wastewater, and water system. Last, the BIA Trust Natural Resources Management account We request that Congress increase the Rights Protection Implementation Program and Tribal Management Development Program by at least 20%. These accounts, together with EPA's Great Lakes Restoration Initiative and EPA's state and tribal assistance grants, are critical to the band and to the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission, which serves 11 Ojibwe tribes in Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin and our ceded territories. This concludes my remarks. Miigwech.